Alright, welcome back everybody to Hayes Tech. This is going to be the video on the Recording King RD328 versus my Martin HD-28V. Now I am going to try to make this video as short as I can possibly make it. So basically what I'm going to do is just run down the specs real quick. What are they made of? Stuff like that. Then I'm going to give you comparison, contrasting this versus that. And then finally, I'm going to give you my opinion of the two guitars and which one I would choose. Obviously, well, it's not really obvious, but I'm going to go with the Martin. I'm telling you guys that right now. But you'll see what I'm talking about later in the video. Don't overlook the Recording King RD328 and other manufacturers out there who make guitars that compete against the Martin, built out of the same materials, use the same glues, all solid wood for a fraction of the cost. So with that being said, what do you say we go ahead and get into this comparison of the Recording King RD328 versus the Martin HD-28V. If you guys have been watching this channel at all, you'll notice that back through the course of several months, years, that I put out a few reviews on guitars. And this is mostly a tech channel. I do reviews on things more like computers, laptops, cell phones, cameras, you name it. That's what I do reviews on. But I've expanded my channel to do, reviews and videos on other things that I consider tech. And in my opinion, I consider a guitar, an acoustic guitar, tech, because you're taking different materials, putting those materials together, and making music from that item. To me, that's pretty cool, and it's tech. And you may not feel that way, and I get it, Obviously, you're probably not going to watch this video, and you're going to move on and wait for me to put out another, video on a camera, an action camera, or you name it, a cell phone, if I could afford it. With that being said, I did want to get out of the way real quick. One of the reasons why reviews have not been coming out as quickly as I would like them to come out is just because of the state of the world financially today. Every one of you out there are feeling it as bad as I am. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because the videos I would love to do right now on all kinds of, there are phones out there I would love to get and review for you guys, but I don't have that income I used to have when I had my channel before, when I could just go out and get, a phone. And, it didn't hurt me that bad, especially if I bought it used. It saved a ton of money. But videos like that are going to be coming back. So, all right, guys. I wanted to bring up one more thing about chapters. Somebody commented on, I think, my last video on my Martin that asked me why I don't put chapters in my videos, so people can go directly to. Well, I do. Basically, at the beginning of the video, tell you where you can go to get right to the sound comparisons. But that's all I'm putting in. I'm not going to break it down and give you guys chapters for the opener, the closer, comparison, what did I think, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that, guys. But if one of you want to do that and put it in the comments section, okay, fine. I'll pin it so everybody knows. And that should, I guess, suit everybody, all right? Let's go ahead and get into these two amazing guitars. Now, I'm going to be putting a lot of B-roll in just because there's really not a whole lot of room to show them. But this is the Martin. This is the Martin HD-28V. As you guys can see, I'll try to flip it around. I don't know which camera I'll use that'll show the best view of it, but I'm going to be putting a lot of B-roll in here so you guys can see every aspect of this guitar. It is going up against my Recording King RD-328, which again, all solid wood, solid East Indian rosewood back and sides, and this one has an Adirondack spruce top that has been sitting and aging for over 30 years before they decided to start building a guitar out of it. There's going to be a difference between the sound in these guitars right away, because the Martin has a Sitka spruce top and the Recording King has an Adirondack spruce top. And I've heard so many people say, well, does that really make a difference? Yes, it actually does. Now, to somebody that's new to music, new to guitars, you might not notice the difference that much. But for somebody who's played guitars all their life and know what they're listening for, you'll hear it. You will hear the difference. Now, I don't know if the audio that I'm using, which is really high quality audio, yeah, I can't even. It's a mic from England that is it's a very high quality mic at a fairly affordable price, around $300 to $400. But this thing really brings out the sound. Now, in all of my sound samples, I will not be doing any post processing at all. Zero, zip. Number one, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to screw it up, and it's going to be worse than it would be if I just gave you directly into this what they sound like. If you don't know how to properly tweak music through, editing, you just mess it all up. All right. And again, like I said before, I want just the straight music coming out of the guitars, going into the mic, and going into your ears. YouTube already compresses the heck out of the sound that goes into my microphone when I upload it, so you're not going to get the best quality. And I recommend, when you guys listen to the sound samples on these guitars, put on some headphones, okay? Headphones or earbuds, you're going to get the best quality out of them. What are the guitars made of? As I said earlier, they both have a solid spruce top. Now, the Martin has a Sitka spruce top that is very, very high grade. You can see silking in it. I mean, it was cut on a perfect, cut. The way if you look at a log, the way they cut it, they want it so that the growth lines are perfectly at a 90-degree angle from the back and the front, and these are. The Recording King, it has a solid Adirondack spruce top, and it was cut pretty good too. Now, I wouldn't say quite as good as the Martin. I don't see much silking in that, but still, it looks like it's got a really good cut. If you look at the sound hole, you can really tell when you look at the sound hole what the cut looks like. And they are pretty straight up and down, so good on them for that. There is a big difference in sound between Sitka spruce and Adirondack. In the 1930s, 40s, Martin used Adirondack for most of their guitars. In 1950, they switched over to Sitka spruce, and then even after that, they threw in some other spruces from around the world. But those are the two big ones, Adirondack and Sitka spruce, and there is a difference between the two as far as tone goes. I prefer the sound of the Adirondack spruce over Sitka spruce. But with that said, I like the sound of the Martin over my Recording King. And it's just because of very subtle things that you get out of a very high quality guitar. Anybody who's played a high quality guitar knows what I'm talking about. There are certain things, certain nuances you will get out of the Martin that you're not going to get out of the Recording King. Does that mean that the Recording King isn't as good as the Martin? No. All I'm saying is, the more you pay for the guitar, in most cases, the more you're going to get out of that guitar in certain nuances, okay? If you are a non-professional musician, the Recording King is perfect for you. Even if you are a professional musician and you just can't afford to go out and purchase a Martin, the Recording King, and Alvarez, Blue Ridge, there's a lot of guitars out there that are all solid wood, being made in China or Indonesia, and being brought into this country that I would consider to be very high quality sounding instruments. So don't overlook them. Even if you are a professional, you're not going to worry so much about bumping or bruising the Recording King as you would if you were carrying your Martin around. So again, there are reasons why you might want to have that Recording King instead of the Martin. Do you like playing outside? Yeah, I know, $1,000, $800 to $1,000. You don't just want to kick it around and but you worry a little less about that guitar than you do one you might have plopped down, $3,000, $4,000. Anyways, guys, what we're going to do right now is we are going to go ahead and hop into the sound samples on these two guitars. I am going to play a little bit on it, but I'm going to let Noah do most of all the guitar playing. Lately, even though I love playing the guitar and I'll never stop playing it, but for me to record myself and put myself out in front of a camera for you guys to listen to me and watch me play with my stroke issues, I would just rather I'll do a little bit and I'll have Noah do the demonstrating, okay? So with that said, what do you guys say we go ahead and jump into what these two guitars sound like? What do you think? One thing I wanted to bring up quickly before we go into this, the one thing that I forgot to mention that's different between the two guitars, the Martin has an ebony fretboard and ebony bridge, and the Recording King has Indian rosewood fretboard and bridge. Even though the bridge on that looks like ebony, it's not, supposedly. I've even sanded it and it is not stained. So I definitely want to bring that up. The first thing I wanted to bring up was the Recording King. The Recording King does not come with a hard case. Now, you can purchase a Recording King branded hard case from Recording King. It's going to cost you about I think it's right around between $230 and $250. I honestly feel that if you actually have a hard case for the guitar that you make, you should, include that with the guitar. I don't care if you charge a little bit extra for the guitar. That is how you protect your investment, is in a very good case. Look at the Martin. The Martin comes in an ABS case. I like wooden cases, but the one that the Martin comes in, it's a really nice case. It has double support on the neck, whereas these cheaper, wood cases only have a single support. But anyways, at least it comes with a good case. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the necks on the guitar. They are both one-piece necks, so they don't have a splice, so they're not made out of like a couple pieces where they have one piece for the neck itself, another piece for the headstock, and then another piece for the lower part, of the dovetail area. It's all cut out of one solid piece of mahogany. I like that. I think that works out best for tone. Again, now that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Look at Taylor guitars. They sound great, even though I don't necessarily like the sound of a Taylor guitar. A lot of people, that's their favorite sounding guitar. Those guitars have glued together or pieced together necks, and they do that to use as little of our natural resources as possible. With that being said, though, there are ways that you can make a one-piece neck and utilize a lot. You can get a lot of necks out of a piece of wood. It's all in the way you cut that blank stock that you're going to be cutting the wood out of. If you make it into like a parallelogram, then you can get a lot of pieces out of that. If you just have straight pieces of wood, you're not going to. Both the necks on these guitars have a V-shaped neck. Now I'm going to be bumping in a lot of B-roll here so you guys can see it. The Recording King has a V-style neck that is more what you'll find on the older guitars, like in the 30s and the 40s. It is a hard V, a very pronounced V-shaped neck. And it took me a while to get used to that neck. Honestly, that's not my favorite, okay? But that's all I had. That's all I could afford, and I got around that, and, I play it. Now, when I got this Martin, it also has a V-profiled neck, but that V is a very shallow V. One of the most comfortable necks that I've ever played on a guitar is on my Martin. So kudos to Martin for that. Also, as far as the necks go, the Recording King has that polyurethane plastic gloss finish on the neck, and the Martin has its lacquer finish, but it's a matte finish. It's not like the real high gloss that's on the body of the guitar, on the top and the back. They give you more of a satin finish on the neck. For me, it seems that my hand slides up and down the neck a little better when it is a matte finish as opposed to the high gloss finishes. The tops on these guitars are Sitka spruce for the Martin and Adirondack spruce for the Recording King. The backs on the guitars are both East Indian rosewood. Again, both guitars all solid wood. Neck to body joint is a dovetail. Now, the Martin has what's called a compound dovetail. So not only is it a dovetail joint, but it's a V-shaped as well. So it's hard to explain. I'll try to put a picture in here. I'll try to download from the internet what the differences are. A lot of Gibsons have straight dovetail. And again, the dovetail is still, in my opinion, the best joint to have. But where the dovetail, just a normal dovetail, differs from the compound dovetail is when you have to do a neck reset and you heat that up, you get that glue supple so you can get it apart. All you got to do to get that neck apart on the Martin is move or push that neck up a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, and it's free. Whereas the Gibson, you're going to have to push it the whole way. It's still a dovetail, and that's, I think, what Recording King is using. I didn't see anywhere on their website where it said compound dovetail, it just says dovetail. So both guitars use a white woodworking glue, okay? No epoxies are used in either of these guitars. Both of these guitars have bone nut and saddles. Both of these guitars come with plastic pins. Now, mine don't. I've already changed them out. I think I have ebony pins on my Recording King and bone pins on the Martin. But there you go. I just wanted to bring up a few of the differences between the guitars. Again, I still think the biggest difference that you're going to hear in the sound is going to come from the finishes on both the guitars and the bracing. As well as, how thin do they work the material down before they glue it all together. Because the Recording King weighs 5.2 pounds. 5 point, I weighed it the other day. 5.2 pounds. The Martin weighs 4.5 pounds. That's a big difference. You can feel the difference. After playing my Martin for a while, I went to pick up the Recording King and I was like, oh my goodness, this thing's heavy. What do you think? What was your favorite sounding guitar? That wasn't as tough for me. I love the Martin. I love the sound of it. As soon as I got the guitar, the first time I strummed it, it was like, wow, man, this thing sounds good. But one of the things I did want to bring up, the Martin is not brand new, so it is very broken in. I bought it used. The guitar is about 20 years old, 21 years old, so it's got a lot of play on the guitar. The Recording King doesn't have quite as much. It only has the amount of guitar playing I put on it. But with that being said, I can tell you for the last 3 years that I've owned that Recording King, I've been playing it every day. a lot. So it's got quite a bit of play wear on it as well. And with that, it's also got that 30-year-old Adirondack spruce top. And when I say 30-year-old, what do I mean? Well, what Recording King did was they had a stockpile of Adirondack spruce cut into soundboard material, and they stopped making guitars for a while, about 30 years. When they started to bring the company back and start producing guitars again, they were like, well, we're going to use up that Adirondack that we have first. So that all that wood's been sitting for 30 plus years, aging and drying out more and aging. And again, it's almost like the guitar was built sitting in a corner, just aging. I myself think that it's a combination of age and play wear, playing on the guitar that changes the sound of the guitar. Because you can pick a guitar up and start playing it, any guitar, and the longer you play that guitar, the better it sounds, okay? Just so any musician will tell you that. A lot of times before people go out and do sets, they will play their guitar for, 30 minutes or so just to break the guitar and warm it up. That's what I mean, warm it up. Also, for this video, I put brand new strings on both guitars. They are the exact same strings. I always run Elixir 8020 bronze. They are coated, and they are 12 to 53s. So there you go. Like I said, I was going to tell you which one I would pick, the Martin, all day long. But with that said, if you want a guitar, an all-solid wood guitar that sounds awesome, don't overlook these guitars being imported in from China and Indonesia that are of all-solid wood. Not all brands, because some of them are really junk, but Recording King, definitely. Alvarez, yes. And there are some other ones I'm going to put here. My buddy Randy of Randy's Rhythm, he just purchased another one that's out of Canada, but they have the guitars made over in China and then shipped back and they sell them. Another outstanding company to purchase a guitar from. If you're looking for, an affordable guitar that has a good quality sound, don't overlook those guitars. But if you're like me, I've wanted a Martin all my life. And as I said in my other video, it was a bucket list item. And I just decided to go out and get it. The heck with it. And I am not dissatisfied with getting it. That guitar sounds great. I can't put it down. I play it all the time now. And as you know, I can't play as good as I wish I could like I used to. but it still makes me happy when I pick it up and play it. It exudes quality. Now, I am going to change the tuners on it. I don't like the tuners. They are Martin branded tuners, but they're loose and floppy. I don't like that. I am going to put a high quality set of open gear tuners on it, but that's the only thing I'm going to change. Absolutely the only thing. Everything else I love about it. I said I was going to try to keep this video as short as I could, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off. Again, if you guys want to learn how to play fingerstyle, go check out Randy's Rhythm YouTube channel. He does an outstanding job of teaching how to fingerstyle. I always thought, when I first got to know him, I thought he was a school teacher, because he's really good at teaching. You can see that in his videos when he's trying to teach you how to play a guitar. He takes his time. He's meticulous about, making sure you got the right process and steps in place when he does it. So again, guys, if you want to learn how to do fingerstyle on an acoustic guitar, go check out Randy's Rhythm. I think you're going to like it. He also has a ton of different acoustic guitars and electric guitars. So he does reviews as well. You may want to check out his reviews. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. More to come. I've had a lot of people ask me to compare Noah's Gibson J45 against the Martin, and I may do that depending on how many comments I get and suggestions. And other people said, hey, put that Alvarez against it. We'll see. All right, I know I've kept you guys way too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.